Shalom, this is the brother Kanan from James, Jamaica, here with a quick lesson. But before I get into the lesson, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakodash. Also, I want to say double honors to the apostles and elders of James Stone, and to you walking out there, pushing this truth in sincerity, with elect. Shalom. Alright, so the lesson basically Jamaica is now heading into a 7-day no movement lockdown, so to speak. So they're creating tighter measures, and they have decided that for 7 days, for most of the country, there basically should be no movement, or most of the population, there should be no movement. There will be a few movements for a certain sector of the population, but for majority, as I said, there should be no movement according to those curfew hours. You know what I mean? Now, just to backtrack a little, so recently the Minister of Health, Mr. Tufton, Christopher Tufton, said that they should be receiving a certain amount of key. Now, I use the key as that juice that they have to basically get the population with for that herd immunity that they said. You know, that's what New York said, the key to New York, basically. So we'll just use the term and continue with it, you know. Anyway, so they said that. So I think it's somewhere about 1.4 million key that should be rolled out by now until the end of September. So with that being said, anyone that is thinking, you know what I mean, would understand that Jamaica, for most part, basically Jamaicans are refusing to get on board with this job or with this key, you know what I mean. So there would have to be an extreme push to captivate the minds or the people in getting into that frame of mind or into that action, you know what I mean. They have to find an urgency or to basically, you know, just get that sense of, as I said, urgency to jump to that, or something has to happen. So we were expecting, for those who already know, expecting these type of measures to come, because it wouldn't spell sense if those that was the intention with no severity behind it. So that's what is taking place. So it's not a shocker to me and to other brothers, and I mean those that are in the know. All right. But our job is here to put you on guard, to let you understand what is taking place, so you can see clear path for your feet. You know what I mean? As we are the prophets of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, to preach to you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans predominantly, sons of Yahweh, Yahushai, that's who you call Jesus and God. Alright? So here we have the measures out now, which are starting from Saturday 8 p.m. and then 8 p.m. To Wednesday 5 a.m. The country should be on its first 3-day, so to speak, period of its shutdown, you know, movement shutdown, and then you get a period where you go back to regular curfew hours, which I think is 7 o'clock or thereabout. Don't quote me on that, you can check it out. Also, after those little period, it goes back the same Saturday again. So from the 20, today is the 19, 20, 19. Alright, so, oh yes, today is the 20. So Saturday, Monday 23rd, Sunday 22nd, Saturday 21st. Alright, so 21st to 23rd, 24th, basically, you could say. And then you have the 29th going in to those 3 days, and then on the, September 5th. You know what I mean? Alright, so that is that there, you know what I mean? These are the strict measures that are being put out there to get you people updated and think. And our job is to edify you on that. Now we're going to play a part of the video, because there's a lot of things to speak on. And I mean, I really don't want to make this video too long, but there's so many things to speak on, to highlight. So also, for face-to-face classes to our school to be kept or keep, they're going to need 12-year-olds to be receive the key. So for persons going to schools or for school to reopen, they are saying that you would have to, you know, for you to go back to classes and face-to-face lessons, that is the requirement, right? And if not, basically online classes would be the option. Also, they're saying yeah, what else is out there? So those are basically the odd things I can remember now. But I'm gonna play a part of the video that was keen. That he also said that Mr. Andrew Wallace said that was keen for persons to listen to, and I mean, and I just picked up on it, so I'm gonna make a lesson on that. But let me just read the scripture real quick. This is Isaiah 62 and verse 6. It says, "I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence." So the Lord placed watchmen to look out for these things, to sound an alarm. And I mean, that's what the watchman basically does. He watches for the people safe. And I mean, and when there's any danger in sight, then he will alert the people so they can prepare for that danger. And this here that we're having, what we're basically we're just watching and sounding the alarm to edify those that need to be edified, or those that should be edified. All right, let's continue. Yeah, it says, "And give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth." So that's what we're here for the kingdom of Israel, Jerusalem, city of peace, to be established on the earth. Once that is set up, then we will go back into a state of tranquility, a state of peace, a state of rest, a state of joy and happiness. But for now, we are in a state of destruction, poverty, and hell. And I know previously we've been saying this to people, and people were, some persons could see, and I mean, I get the idea, and but it's one thing to see something, and then it's another thing to feel it. And currently people are feeling it for most part. A lot of persons are not feeling it because prices are going up in things, bus fare, food items. You're getting less days at work, which means it's gonna be less money for you. Also, for some private sectors, if you don't decide to take the key, then you would have to pay for your test, which is a little costing. So that's the whole idea of this, which is what I'm gonna play now. All right, so let's get into that. All right, sorry for the long explanation. Just trying to get you guys on up to par. All right, so here we go.
Avoid this debate because, you know, some people might believe, you know, that I might have a certain bias or whatever. That is absolutely not true. I try to be dispassionate in the exercise of my duties. The surprising thing, however, which you know, I thought that there was only one side of the discourse, which is that the measures unfairly affect Sunday worshippers. But I'm surprised to hear that there are Sabbath worshippers who say the measures unfairly affect their business as well. So in both cases, there are issues. This is not one that I confess to that I'm able to resolve. Look, the churches have been very helpful and supportive, and I continue to encourage their support for the programs. And without their support, we wouldn't be able to be as successful as we are. These issues.
Right, because the church is the influence. They're using churches, asking entertainers, persons that has influence on other people, to encourage them again back into the push. And this church shows you that they are with society. The church is a part of the state, so that was expected. So I will tell you, leave these churches alone. God is not dealing with these churches. The church is not about Yahweh Bashem Yoshai and the nation of Israel being established on the earth. They're about the agenda that was created from back then, and they're pushing that narrative today. Alright? So let's continue.
Are valid, but I can't tell you I could adjust the measures to address them.
Thank you, sir. And let's go to Deshaun Hendricks of the Jamaica Observer now. Deshaun?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Prime Minister. Just two very quick questions. Increasingly, private sector companies are asking their workers to get vaccinated or take regular COVID tests at their expenses. What is the government considering that for public sector workers who are on the fence in taking the vaccine? And if yes, at whose cost will the government require public sector workers to take a regular test if they don't want to take the vaccine? And the second question is, you mentioned earlier in the preamble about having...
So I want to focus on that question, right? About persons in the public sector and the private sector. The private sector is already doing this, which they're going to say the private sector has the right to do such a thing, because we're seeing in America where this is a debate. You know, Jamaica is little America, so whatever happens in America happens in Jamaica. Alright, so that's pretty much. So you realize that they're not going, well, you're gonna play it, they're not gonna get into the private sector aspect of it, because that is a done. If they, well, he's gonna agree with that. So if the private sector decides that, look, for you to work in my environment, this is a procedure, or get this done, and it's basically their way or the die way, or find something else. You know what I mean? So let's continue.
With the finance minister about the hike in prices that are going on in terms of shipping costs over the world, and you mentioned that you are thinking about doing targeted intervention to assist vulnerable people. Can you just expound a bit more on that?
Thank you, Deshaun. Let me say that we have not yet discussed a policy of requiring public sector workers to be tested in order to turn up to work. What I know we have started to do is to organize the various ministries, departments, and agencies and statutory bodies to receive vaccines. So I know the Ministry of Health is coordinating with the permanent secretaries and the heads of agencies to carry out a vaccination program within the public sector. Now, let me say this. Where we are with vaccination is that vaccination is not widespread. Once vaccination becomes widespread and widely available, then the cost of not being vaccinated should not be borne by the state. Let me repeat that.
Let him repeat it. There's a key reason why he's going to repeat it. Right? So what he's saying is literally well, you can say that this is their agenda, this is what they're pushing, then he's gonna explain why they would not support it, because it would literally means that you are encouraging persons not to get the key, which he's going to say. So he's gonna repeat it again for you. Say basically, let me say it and then let him repeat it. Once Jamaica has enough of the key that they should be getting, which according to them the tracker is set for the end of September, you know what I mean? If this is enough to make a widespread availability for people to get the key, and this is so, then it means that you should be able to find the cost if you refuse to take what is readily accessible to you. Alright? So I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So let's play it.
Yes, at this time vaccines are not widely available and it is not widespread. So you can't really impose fully the cost. The state shouldn't impose fully the cost on the citizen because it's not widely available yet. But once it becomes widely available and widely accessible, then the cost of not being vaccinated should not be borne by the state. I want that to seep in. I know there are many questions that are going to come from that, but that
let it seep in. Think about it and let it seep in so you understand why he's saying this, because this is key going forward. Alright? Because this is also going to be the agenda of helping to push for persons to get on board and get that key. Right? Because remember, these private sectors and public sectors basically are putting out what I call basically they're bribing people to get on board to it. So you may see um, if you get the key, then you get a free pizza or KFC, or they give you a $5,000 gift or $5,000 cash to encourage you to get it, or as incentive. These are the push. So they are willing to invest the money for you to get on board. So they will not invest the money for you to be just doing tests, because it is not really about, it's for you to get on board for their agenda. Alright, they're gonna say that this is in their best interest. You may see it different. Alright, but that's what they are saying. These are their policies, and this is what they will be implementing. Alright, coming very soon. Because again, those that 1.4 million keys that should be coming into the country is not coming here for no reason, and we're currently under 10% of the population. So there has to be a mass keying of people so society can go back to its norm according to them.
This is the government's policy. So for example, if the employer is to say, well, if you're not vaccinated, for you to come into my workplace, you have to show that you're not going to infect the rest of my staff and derail my operation, so you have to show a test. You rightfully should not ask the employer to pay for that if vaccinations are available, if you have the option of getting vaccinated. Because technically, what would happen is that the government would be paying you not to get vaccinated. There are some tough decisions that we have to make, and you're not going to have everything the way you like it. But we have to look at what is in the best interest.
And this is a suggestion to show you that if they don't get people willingly to accept this, these type of policies are basically mandatory. You have to learn to read between the lines, because they may not, oh, we're not thinking about mandatory at this time because we understand the nature of our society, and while there's a science behind the whole situation is taking place, we have to understand that there's a social science of how people or of our society may react, so we have to take that in consideration. However, how long do you take that in consideration, seeing that you have an agenda that you have to accomplish? This is what we're trying to say to people. If you read between the line, this is saying to you that coming very soon, once it is readily available for in every sector for you to get it, if you don't get it, then you will be put under severe pressure and costs to bear that burden, whatever it costs. You will have to find that. And bear in mind, for majority of Jamaicans, you are living under minimum wage, which means if you have to find $2,000 weekly to do a test, and I'm being very generous here when I say $2,000 each week to do a test, you are already putting yourself in serious pressure. So it's clear for you to just look and understand and realize that, look, this is it. A lot of people will not hold out because you love your belly. You know what I mean? You will not hold out because you're talking about no. as the brothers always said, you're gonna see who is tough in that time period. Lord's will that we that are a part of um, the pushing of this truth here, the called, you know what I mean, that we can stand firm by the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and endure unto the end and keep our garments clean. You know what I mean? Keep our loyalty, even if it means death. Hopefully we can do that. That's what we pray for. That's what we're fighting for. Alright? A lot of persons will not be able to do that because they have no faith. We ask Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to give us that faith to endure unto the end of this shit. Alright? So, let me just finish it up.
Overall. So, I hope I've answered your question there, Dashon. Now, as it relates to how the government intends to deliver care packages and support, meaning through the care program to the social safety net. In the past,
alright, let me pause right here. So we don't have to go further in that, alright? Let me just read this real quick. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 18. It says, let me start from 17. I said, woe is me. Woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? So that woe is there's destruction. Who will deliver you in that day? Who will deliver me in that day? Who will deliver anyone in that day? Because that day is coming. Alright? Says the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. Why? Because persons are gonna cry. They're gonna cry bitterly. Persons are going to lose their lives, their sanity. You know what I mean? The beginning of famine. Yep. Dying for hunger, which is one of the worst ways to die. And great death. The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. Alright, right now Journalist is in fear because he, as you said, you know, the social science behind the people of so-called Jamaica. You know, because again, you guys are Benjamin predominantly. Alright, Israelites. Right? So yeah, he knows that you people, when it comes to that part, the food part, you know, we've been saying, take away you guys. Because we've been saying, everything, once you can party, or they take away your party, that doesn't really mean much. There's something to it, but doesn't really mean much. You know what I mean? But take away your food, prevent you from surviving, and then either you're gonna sell out or you're gonna fight. How many years you're gonna do both? You know what I mean? But for the elect and the chosen, largely we're gonna sit and watch this society crumble. We're not gonna fight for it to stop survive. We're gonna wait for it to crumble, and for the Lord to make His entrance and deliver His people. This is why it says, "Who will deliver in that time?" Yahweh Hashem Shai will deliver His elect in that time, and hopefully we are part of that number. All right, let's continue. It says, "And what shall I do when these evils shall come?" All right. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are set as scourges for amendment. These are basically scourges. These are set for scourges to beat us, to punish us, because we have been, we are sinners basically. We have been, how you put that? We did not follow what we were asked to follow by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and we are now getting that punishment. And slavery was a part of that. Let me not straight to that, but all that is all what we're going through now. The curse that we're under now is a punishment. And sooner or later it's gonna finish. Alright? Yes. But yeah. But for all these things, yeah, when persons are seeing these things, you're now feeling it. A lot of persons are feeling it. Alright? They shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Right? It says, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good cases, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." Great confusion is coming. Alright, and victuals are not so cheap, and this time is getting worse and worse because we're getting into the last bitterness of the cup. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's gonna be a day of sedition, like 2nd or 15 says. I could read it, but we're just gonna make the video too long. So yes, it's gonna be a day of you people wanting your PM head, the minister's head, the person that are set to lead you, the blind leaders that are leading you into this ditch, you're gonna want them punished. You know what I mean? They're gonna fight because, as I said, they said it. They already expect these things. They don't think they are preparing for it. That if worst case scenario, they are ready to fight back. Because they're not gonna, okay, they are prepared for it. You know what I mean? So it's just for you to, for those who have ears to hear, those who have eyes to see, and if you can feel what is taking place, it means that you should be looking into what is taking place on a serious note. Alright, so again, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yoshai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Again, to the elders and apostles, double honors, and to your there. Shalom.